So right now we have our couples panel. He said, she said, we say. So we're going to talk to the couples right now and see how they are managing and making their relationships healthy and how that looks from the inside out, how they deal with conflict, communication, consideration, the children, family, and all kinds of things. So we're going to get started. I'm going to ask the couples to introduce themselves. Daryl and Sharon, the Fletchers, can you start and tell us how long you've been married?
All right. So my name is Daryl Fletcher, and I am married to this lovely young lady, Sharon Fletcher. We have an organization called Love Logistics Circle. We have been married for 4 years. We've been together for 7, and I'm the author of Consistently Beautiful, The Good, Bad, and Ugly of Couples. And Sharon has acquiesced to join me in this journey. She's a background type person, but she's like the temptation. She know when to hit the note. She know when she needs to step into the mic and back on out. So I appreciate her as a lovely individual in my life. She's my life partner, and I love her dearly.
Oh, goodness. I love it. Sharon, you want to say something?
No, I think you said it all. But he's correct. I am more of a background. This was not my journey when I met Daryl, but I have enjoyed. I've always said everything has been exciting with him. It's always an adventure. So, yeah.
I mean,
really.
See, this is why I love Sharon, right? Because Sharon just taught us all a whole lot right now for those who desire to be wise and for the wives who don't know how to fall back. And she didn't fall back. She just said, my baby said it all just now. My baby said it all. We're going to go Daryl and Elaine Johnson and let them introduce themselves and how long they've been married.
Hey everyone, we are so excited to be here. This is Elaine and Dr. Daryl Johnson. My baby, a whole doctor, okay? We have been married for 12 years. It's going to be 13 this October. And we've been together since 2006.
Accurate. Yep.
But listen, guys, I am crazy in love like Beyonce. If you know me in real life, you know that we are like truly happy, not just on Instagram.
They start in trouble already. They calling folks out. Everything that glitters ain't gold. And I love it. Elaine said, "Doctor, honey, get it right." I in here, but you're gonna give me my baby. Give my baby his accolades. I love this. Come on, Tracy and Cherie. The side faxes are here. Introduce yourself and how long have you guys been married?
Well, I'll let Cherie handle that.
So I'm Cherie. You guys saw me earlier. This is Tracy, my husband. Today is our 1-month anniversary. And we've been together for a year. I am, like I said, a sales director in a medical device industry. I'm also the host of Leader in Lover podcast. But my husband is CEO of Fax Group Realty. He is a contractor developer, and his main job is taking care of me, and he does that great.
See, I love what's going on here. And I just want our audience to see the dynamic of how Tracy said, I'll let her handle that. These are signs of submission. It's not forced. It's natural when you are with the right person. And this is what I want us to learn, that nobody said, oh, don't tell me that you're going to let me handle it. Because we be there sometimes. What you mean you going to let me handle that? No, it's the ebb and the flow, the wonder. I'm loving this because I like to learn from couples because I'm single right now. And I just want to hear what you guys have to say. So let's start this off with he said, she said, we say panel. So let's talk about communication, right? Is there a style of communication that you guys have? And what will you advise couples who are listening right now on when it comes to communication? And I'll start with the side factors.
Oh, now I'll take this one.
Oh!
And that's why I said let her kick it off, because she is the ultimate communicator. I think when me and Cherie first met last year, one of the opportunities that I got to have with her in the time we spent together was basically doing Zoom calls, lunch, dinners, comedy shows, all together doing Zoom, and got to hear her just communicate and talk about her desires and what she expects out of life and what she's looking for in life. And, she's been the ultimate communicator for a whole year. So I talked about this when we got married, that Me and her locked in for a year. So if you can lock in with someone for a whole year and communicate with them very well, it's just to show you that that line of communication is wide open.
And if I can add to that, one thing that helped us in our communication is that Tracy early on shared with me, it was vulnerable and transparent with me about how he had reacted to things in the past. And so based on that, whether it's being defensive because he thought he was being accused of something or what have you, based on that, I had to adjust my communication style if there was something that I needed from him or I wanted to, influence his behavior or whatever. If we had a disagreement, I had to keep that in mind. So ladies, when your men are vulnerable enough to share with you some of their triggers and things that have traumatized them in past relationships, that's a gem and a nugget that's so valuable. And what you do with that will set the tone if you are his peace and his safe place.
Oh my goodness. Let's go to the Johnsons.
You want to go?
Sure. I think, just to pick up where they left off, I think the key for us, what I've come to realize is that as you make a deeper commitment, there needs to be a deeper level of communication. It's very important that they coincide. My wife and I were dating. We dated for 2 years before we decided to get married. And at the time we got married, we thought our communication was at 100%. We thought we had everything in order. But what you realize is that when you marry a woman, you don't marry just the woman, you marry her entire family. You marry all the dynamics of their family. And then when you have children, that's another dynamic. So all of these additional dynamics require deeper levels of communication. And if you're unable to develop those communications, it can lead to a lot of disconnections and a lot of issues. And so, I would say like out of the 12 years, the first 2 years were the hardest for Elaine and I because we had to redefine the way we communicated with each other. And I'm glad that we did because it made our relationship even stronger, even deeper. And as we make deeper commitments to each other, we're realizing that even after 12 years, we're finding new ways to communicate with each other. We love it.
And one of the strategies that we've used, when we were having like our hard 2 years early on in our marriages, we created boundaries. So Daryl and I said, no matter how angry we are, or if we get into arguments, we would never curse at each other. Till this day, we've been dating since 2006. We've never cursed at each other. We've never used cursed language, foul language when we're upset, because there's some things that you just can't take back. And that was a boundary that we created. If the other person needs time, we agreed that we would respect that space. So if Daryl has to take a walk because he needs to process some things, that means that I'm not calling him like, where you at? Why did you leave? No, I respected that boundary because we set all these, expectations up beforehand. And so that's one of the best things we did because now we're still happily married. We communicate really well, but I would honestly say creating those boundaries early on just really set the tone for the remainder of the relationship.
Wow. I just want to listen, ladies and gentlemen. People ain't cussing at each other. That's not normal. We got to understand that dysfunction is not normal. We think that's normal to curse at each other. So, Elaine, I'm so glad that you brought that up, that it's a self-control issue when you can't control your mouth when you cussing at people. So I appreciate you saying that so that we understand that y'all are not cursing at each other because you choose to respect each other enough to control yourself. We think that, oh, that's just this person, or I was just angry. That doesn't give you the right to disrespect me and say things that you should not be saying. So let's go over to the Fletchers.
Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking, but that's very true. I mean, you can't want people to respect your husband, your wife to respect you, and you have that kind of language. I mean, we don't speak that way normally, so we don't do it when we're heated. I mean, and of course, every couple has disagreements, but we always try to no distractions. Let's talk it through and then get to the other side. I think most people so focus on the fight that they dismiss the resolve. So they don't get to the other side because they're so focused on the fighting.
Mm-hmm. A part of that is, we used to say, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And many times, people are fighting to be right. So there's always 4 conversations: what was said, what was heard, what was meant, and what was felt. And the key to those is really getting those all on the same page. And so one of the things that I've learned with being married to Sharon is like I text her some freaky stuff last week, or was it last week? A couple weeks ago. And so her response was, well, what does that look like to you? And that gave me an opportunity to express myself on from the fact of what it looks like to me does not necessarily mean or what it looks like to her. So in our communication, it gave me an opportunity to expand my vocabulary and also be able to say, okay, this is what it looks like to me, because it could look very different to her. But these are words that we use every day. And because we use those words every day, it's going to mean something different to me than it is to her. So now, we talked about it last night. I'm being bilingual, because people always talk about communication and relationship, but it's more about being bilingual, learning the language of your spouse or your mate, so that they can understand you and you can understand them. Because if I'm just spitting out a whole bunch of stuff and there's no connection to what I'm saying, then at the end of the day, my words are falling on deaf ears. So it's about me understanding her language and her understanding my language, so that we can begin to grow together.
Woo! Wait, we can end this whole thing right now, because y'all just saved some marriages. All three of y'all, what y'all just said, y'all just saved some marriages. Because listen, I was married and I'm learning over again. But y'all just saved some marriage, because communication is a big piece of marriage. And like you guys said, communication has to change as you evolve into a couple. As you've been together 13 years, you're not communicating the same way as you were when you were 21 years old. And if we don't know those things, we'll get stuck in a rut. So let's talk about, this is a big one, and people were inboxing me and asking me to ask you guys this. So it's just not me. This is from the audience, and I want you guys to be honest. Let's talk about privacy and secrecy. Should you have access to your spouse's cell phone, password, social media, and how much of a problem do you think that is with relationships right now in 2021?
So this is I'm gonna preface my comment. So I was Mr. What do you call it? Smoke and mirrors. Yeah, I was Mr. Smoke and mirrors.
Uh-oh.
So as a person that was Mr. Smoke and mirrors and misdirection, when I first met Sharon, she gave me the space, or we created a space, so that I didn't have to be Mr. Smoke and Mirrors anymore. So what does that mean? She never judged me for my past. She never even judged me for my present. And so it gave me the opportunity to be free. So I didn't mind having access. Like she has, this is her phone right now. I have the code to it. My phone is in the other room, but she has the code to it. But here's a challenge. Whenever there is a resistance to share access, there is a red flag of an issue. And the thing about it is, it's not about the access. We have to talk about what is the problem behind the access.
Uh-oh.
What is the issue behind the access? Because many times there could be a multiplicity of issues behind that access. And so once again, we start fighting about access. Oh, I should have access to everything. No. See, it's bigger than the access. So let's not, argue over the stuff that doesn't matter. What is really the issue here? And so that's because many times, many men won't necessarily have, they don't necessarily have something to hide, but what it is they've always been condemned for what their past has been, or they've been condemned of how they really feel. Put it like this. Most men have a high sex drive, and most men do not always feel comfortable with expressing how they really feel from a sexual standpoint. And if I were to really share with you all my freaky, nasty, deep, dark secrets, I'm normally judged. And if I'm normally judged, what the access represents is, or the restriction of access is, I don't want to be judged by by my past or what I'm feeling. So there's most of the time it's a bigger issue than the access. So like I said, she's sign her on my banks and our joint bank accounts and business bank accounts and stuff like that. She has access to all of that. And so therefore, because we created that space of being safe, creating a safe space in your relationship, because that's what it's really about. It's really about creating that safe space where I can come in. So when I talk to her, I'll tell her, I say, hey, I need to talk to Sharon, my friend, and not Sharon, my wife.
Uh-oh.
Because now I can compartmentalize of what needs to be said and how it needs to be said, so that it once again provides me a safe place where I can really express myself. And then once that wall is torn down, I can even express more. But if the men would be honest with themselves, we really don't share because we really are afraid of being judged or condemned of how we really feel.
And typically, most of that comes from obviously past experiences. It could be parents, it could be past girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever, and you have probably opened yourself up to someone and they judged you, and now you're like, I'm never going to do that again. And it's going to continue to become a problem in any relationship you have, and you never get a chance to really grow and be vulnerable. I know Jill and I always joke about when we first met, and he was, we just talked and talked and talked. And most of the stuff he was telling me, he was like, I don't even know why I'm telling you all of this. We just met. It was important for me, if we're going to start off in a relationship, or at that point just getting to know each other, just being a good listener. So if you wanted to share, who am I, for one, to judge you as if we all don't have a past in some way? So it's just being a good ear and being able to listen to what your partner has to say.
I love it. Come on, side facts. The side facts is
So very similar to the Johnsons, we are not just happy on Instagram and Facebook. We are happy. And so I have all of Tracy. I don't have his password to his phone, but it's often, and he just gives me the phone, is like, can you return this text, or they put that on the DM, can you check that, or whatever. I have all his email. And it wasn't like, I need to give you this or you need to give me that. It's like, we're integrating our lives, and there's stuff that I need to help him with, or, handle things for business, or, Tracy is so busy and people are trying to reach him and get in touch with him. So sometimes I'm like, I just need to go through all this stuff to make sure you get back to this person or that person. So it happened very naturally and very organically. I remember my girlfriends gave me a surprise bridal shower, and I guess they thought that Tracy said she may have seen something in the DMs. So they were like asking me, you be in his DMs? I'm like, no, but I have access to it. That's my husband, and so, yeah.
And I think from a man's point of view, and it comes down to trust. You couldn't do that 3-4 years ago. My former wife couldn't do that because of the life that I lived prior to me getting myself fixed. And if we all be honest as men, as Daryl said, it's the assets behind that. So if you're cheating, if you're doing stuff, of course, I don't want to give you access to anything. But, we have a relationship that is solid, that is built on trust. And as she said, we're integrating our lives. We're doing a lot of things. And I couldn't be in a situation in a relationship with my wife and her not being able to have access to me and all of me, including my electronics.
Oh, my Lord. Listen here, Lord, where's my Boaz? I'm sorry.
You want to back in that house, right?
I have full access.
Yes, full access. You guys are unmute yourself.
So for us, a couple years ago, we created a mission statement for our marriage, right? And so like one of the things that we pride ourselves on is like, yes, Daryl is my husband, but he's also my life partner. And to what both couples said, in order for this to work, it's not so much about, oh, this is privacy. It's about, we have one vision in two different positions. There's some things that I'm great at. There's some things that Daryl's great at. And in order for this to work, I'm a serial entrepreneur. Daryl's an educator. He has a business. I'm better at marketing and I'm way better at Instagram than he is. So oftentimes I'm using, his phone to post things. And also we have two young kids. I don't know if there's any young couples or young women. But listen, my daughter's 10 and my son is 7. So it ain't no, he can't give me his password because my son's asking, I need to see YouTube, right? So like I need to make sure we have those passwords. But it's not an issue because we know where we see ourselves. We know the purpose God has not only for our marriage, but for ourselves. And so, yes, it's about trust. Yes, it's about having those conversations. It's about being open, but it's also going right back to the mission statement that we have for our marriage. If you work for any company, guess what? The first thing you learn is a mission statement. I highly recommend that you not only have one for your marriage, but you have one for yourself. Know why you woke up this morning. Know why you married him and why God placed him in your life.
Yeah. In addition to that, and I don't know if I'm going to be pushing the envelope on this, but I think that we have to understand that there is a level of reverence when it comes to access, right? Like there is a level of respect that has to occur in order for you to develop that access to each other. One thing that I will say, and kind of touching on what Daryl said, there is this fear of judgment, right? And so you have to have a level of respect that you won't be judged, right? That you'll be treated equally, like right. There is a level of equity in the use of access, right? So that we're using it for the right reasons. And what happens is, unfortunately, in the past, many people have been abused. Like that level of respect has been abused. So it's harder for them to offer access in the future because that level of reverence was never given to them. And so, especially for men, right? For men who've had a past, right? Their willingness to give access has been disrespected. So there's still a level of hurt there that has to be, and that trust has to be earned at that point, right? And so then the partner's question is, what are you doing to earn that trust to develop to the point where we can give each other that access, right? And so for me, it's a high level of respect, reverence, and rationale, right? And so like all the three couples who spoke to their rationale as to why they have access. And I think that's part of earning the trust, right? If you don't have a rationale, then the first thought is that you're going to abuse the access that I'm giving you.
Oh,
So like we have to have that, and that this all boils back to the communication piece, right? What is your rationale for the access? And then once you have that access, can I trust that we're going to have the respect for each other, that we're going to use this access for the right reasons to better our marriage and not challenge it? Right. That's ultimately the ultimate challenge around having access. So is there a point where couples can give full access to each other? Absolutely. But we have to respect each other with that use of access. We can't abuse it. And there has to be a rationale that's defined and happens to be defined through our mission statement with each other, but it has to be clearly defined.
If I could say one more thing, I'm sorry.
please, go ahead.
Well, this is an actual example of, from my past to current present date. 3 weeks ago, I think, my phone went out. Now, I run a ranch and it's open 7 days a week and, it's just a whole bunch of stuff going on. But I couldn't go get my new phone. So I had to give my wife my phone to go to the store to get me a new phone. And that's where what Daryl was saying and what Tracy was saying in regards to that access, hey, here's my phone, handle your business or handle my business or on my behalf. And so many times I've been in situations where that has been abused. I gave you my phone for a particular reason, but now you have gone all off the scale or all off the beaten path for a different reason. I've been in situations where when I was dating, I fall asleep and I wake up to who is so and so. I'm like, that's my friend, but why are we what I mean, here's the thing. To a person that is looking for something that is wrong, anything can be wrong.
Oh,
so at the end of the day, put it like this: if you're looking for something, you're gonna find it.
wow.
So rather than creating that energy of or what he doing, what she doing, what she doing. You're manifesting the what you said, sabotaging your relationship.
Wow.
You're manifesting the sabotage of your relationship. Now here's the thing. If you firmly believe whatever's done in the dark will come to light, then you just got to let that happen. But at the end of the day, don't take somebody's access and abuse that access for your own good, because that just put us all back into this cycle of no trust and not moving forward.
Wow.
I want to say one more thing, just from the women's point of view. So very similar to what everyone else is saying. I haven't had that. I had not had that in a relationship before Tracy, which is why I hadn't been married till I got to Tracy. Because of that, I honor and I respect him and I hold him in high regard, because to have that type of trust. So, I mean, Tracy, all kinds of women are in his DMs for multiple reasons. Business, he does social justice, political. I mean, I can't be, who is so-and-so every 5 minutes? I mean, it just would tear us down. So ladies, if you're not with someone that you can't trust, it's just not going to work. Because if you can't have that type of free flow where he can feel comfortable for me to return text messages, or he can feel comfortable for me to look in his text to find his dad, so he can, if there's going to be friction and arguing and all that after that, then it does the relationship no good. So I just really, really work hard to just honor him in that, because again, I had not had that gift until he gifted me with that.
Wow. And there's a level of the ladies here. There's a level of confidence in yourself that I see, that I'm not worried about who in his phone. So I think that we have so many issues as women because we've been through so many things. And when we're not healed completely and we think we are, and we get into a situation and we see something that looks like a red flag, like you see a man and the last man you was with, when he cheated, he started eating Pringles because that old girl house was eating Pringles. Then your man come home with a can of Pringles and you go crazy. Your new man come home with a can of Pringles, you go crazy because it's a trigger. And you like, you eat Pringles, and he like, what's up with the Pringles? Like, the last man Pringles, serious, last man Pringles because he was eating at another woman's house. So be careful with our triggers as women. To a man gives you access. And like Dr. Johnson said, why do you want the access to my phone? Like Elaine said, I need the access because your son be wanting YouTube. I ain't got time to be coming to you talking about unlock your phone, unlock it. He want to do you. I don't want to go through your phone. I just need it for YouTube. So let's go to our next question, because I know our time is running out and I hate it. But I want to ask this to the women. I don't want to start no trouble. I want to ask this to the women. Is the man the head of the household? Because we have this problem now, because we live in a world right now where everything is women are winning, girls run the world, and this and that, and we rah up, and I'm old fashioned. So I just want to know, is the man the head of the household, and is that okay with you?
Who's going? Yeah, I think I was going to say that. I think that absolutely. I mean, and I guess I will say it depends on whether or not you live biblically.
Okay.
People don't necessarily go by that because maybe that's just not how they were taught or what they learned or whatever. But I think most of the time people think, oh, how your husband, how he makes all the decisions. No, we're still a partnership. I mean, Daryl's not going to go out and be like, you know what, I want this $100,000 truck, so I'm just going to go out and buy it.
Go ahead.
He's not just going to make that decision and do it without there being some discussion, and we talk about it and what we're, it's still so many people. And I think this has a lot to do with, again, like Dr. Johnson said, was that your past a lot of times predicts your future. So if you are so big, you're so stuck on, people taking advantage of you, and if you've experienced someone taking advantage of you, then you have a problem with that submission, or you have a problem with recognizing him being the head of household. And most people, again, also look at it as, oh, well, he doesn't make the most money, so how can he be head of household? One has nothing to do with the other. It's reverence and respect for my husband to follow his lead and make decisions that we have to do together, but that we're going to be in the right path. And like Elaine and Daryl said, for our mission, because Daryl and I do the same thing. We do our vision board, and we set our mission and our goals for the year, and for our marriage, and the same thing. We have to be on the same page. And I think people just kind of get stuck in that means that he controls me, and that's not what that's about.
I'll piggyback off of what Sharon said. Absolutely. This is the head of the household. Same type of situation. Like, the way we run our household, it is absolutely Jesus the Christ, Daryl, me, the kids, right? And we still operate in that same fashion, guys. Like, Daryl and I, even though we have 2 kids and we've been married 12 years, we date every Friday. Even in quarantine, baby girl was Netflix and chilling on the couch as soon as the kids were in bed. But also understanding that this man, the way he protects us, the way he prays over us, it's not just about finances. It's not just about who's being right. I love when Daryl said that about, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? It's about this man. I know for a fact the way he prays over us, the way he plans for this family, the way he plans for me, but also know that it is also a partnership. So it's not like Daryl saying, girl, bye, go ahead and have a nice little Puerto Rican day. No, my vote still counts on the decision making, but I am pro being submissive. And guys, I am like the definition of feminists and girls run the world, but girls can run the world and also be submissive to their partners.
Oh, somebody better pass the collection plate.
So, we're the newbies over here, but my husband is absolutely the head of our household, and in every way, shape, and form. And to Elaine's part, the way my husband cherishes me, the way he respects me and honors me, we just have our lanes of where I have strengths and where he has strengths, and in those we lean on each other. But as far as our household, Tracy takes care of everything. I don't even have bills, nothing. I mean, he just takes care of everything. And so it's so easy. And I guess maybe I shouldn't tell men this, but if you are a protector, it's easy for your woman to allow you to be the head of the household. If you are a protector, it's easy for your woman to allow you to lead. And I am A-type. I am red, driven, alpha woman, executive at the job, the whole nine. But like I said in the other segment, I come home and I cook dinner for this man every day, and I make sure that he is taken care of, because he takes good care of me. He takes good care of my children who don't even live here, his children. So he's one of the hardest working people that I know, and I have no problem with submitting to him. And so anyone who has a problem with that, you're probably not with anybody.
I just want to reiterate that. If you have a problem allowing your man to lead, he's probably not showing leadership qualities. So there's some things that you probably should ask each other in a marriage. So now this question is for the men. We always hear this thing, women be waiting 5, 10, 3, 7, 25 years for somebody to marry them. And then we hear men say, I knew it from the first day I laid eyes on her. One, do you know it from the first time or really soon after that you met this person that this is the one for you? Are we waiting too long? Because does a man really know? And what was it about your wife that just made you say, this is it for me?
I'll hop in and start. So I think every man is different, right? I think every man has an agenda. I think it takes a level of maturity for a man to tell you the truth, right? And so for me, I was very immature at the time when I met Elaine, and I was doing my thing. So I had an agenda. All right. And what I realized is that the most attractive thing that a woman can do is own her magnificence and her beauty and everything that she's worth, right? And when a woman understands her worth, I just find that so attractive. And what happened was I was dating Elaine and about trying to date about 5 or 6 other females at the same time. And then one day Elaine dumped me. And she was just like, you know what? I said, you're not going to dump me because I'm Daryl. You can't dump me. I swore she was going to call me back the next day. I was like, she be all right. She'll get over it tomorrow. She'll give me a call. And then when I realized she wouldn't call me back, I was like, wait a minute. she really not gonna call the kid. Like
my block game strong, y'all.
So I ended up calling her and I was like, yo, you really not gonna do this with me? She's like, no, I need you to understand. Like, I know where you're at, but I know my worth. I know what I'm capable of, and I'm looking for a king. And so, like, if you want to have your agenda, go have your agenda. But I know my worth. So when the king comes and find me, don't be upset. Yo, I lied to you not. I called everybody in the black book and was like, look, it's over. And I cut off every last woman I was dealing with. I called Elaine back and I was like, yo, you made me man up. You made me mature and you made me a better man and made me realize I'm about to miss out on a queen. And so again, like women, if you're out there, like, know your worth. If you know you're a queen, don't deal with no nonsense. The king will come. You know, when you operate like a queen, the king will come, guaranteed. And so I'm grateful that my queen chose me because I almost lost her. And I think that's how that operates.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
I would like to. Sharon and I met online, and when we met online, I was talking to like 5 women or whatever. And to answer to your question, I personally believe that when you know what you want, it doesn't take long. Now, if you playing games, yeah, I'm gonna string you along 3, 4, 5, 20 years. It don't. If I'm playing games, then you just in the double dutch. And if I turn fast, you're gonna jump fast. And if I turn slow, you're gonna turn slow. You're gonna jump slow. But our first conversation lasted 4 hours, and she was just a breath of fresh air for me. And so I'm thinking probably month 2, I was like, yeah, I need to go ahead and lock it down. And so my personal belief is it doesn't take long when a man, I can go buy a car because I made the decision because that's what I wanted. I can go buy clothes because it doesn't take long because that's what I wanted. Now, on the flip side, like I said last night, men are more concrete typically, women are more abstract. And so it may take, see, the shopping is an experience for the woman. It's not about the dress that because a man will be like, oh, I want that shirt, it's gonna go with that shoe, it's going this right here, and let's get up out of here. But when women are shopping, it's about the experience, her being out, all that type of thing. So it may be a little bit more flowy. So when a man finds a woman that he's like, yo, this could be the one, I personally don't believe that it takes a long time unless, like Daryl was saying, I got an agenda. I'm gonna juggle this over here, juggle this over there, and do this and that, whatever. I've heard many men say, oh, my finances ain't right, or this ain't right. And here's the thing. Either you're gonna find an excuse not to, or you find a reason to do. And so at the end of the day, look at your life and understand what is the reasoning, not the excuses, because excuses make you go back. Reasons push you forward.
Woo-wee. Lord, thank you, Jesus. I'm sorry, y'all taking me to church up in here. I'm over here testifying in my mind and all kind of stuff. Come on now, Tracy.
Yeah, so I'll piggyback definitely on what Daryl said. As you know, we met online also. So shout out to the online matches. They work. And just like Daryl said, I don't think it takes long when you find your number one. And it didn't take me nothing but a couple of months. Sharia's big personality, big smile. On her profile, she had Bay Love. So she was bringing that California sunshine to the East Coast. And it was like magic. So it didn't take me long. And, listen, I'm 58 years old. I was married for 33 years. Was dating online for a couple of years. Never had a chance. Didn't plan on getting married. She let me know that's what she was looking for. And once I knew that's what she was looking for, and I found out that she was the one, I said, oh, no, that's going to be my queen. And we are. And I am in this to get married, too. I had to cut my list, and she had to cut her list. And so now I think, yeah, it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long. It didn't take long for me to realize that I have my queen. She was saying the right things. She was doing the right things. I seen her in her natural beauty, which is COVID. She seen me with a messed up haircut because I couldn't get my hair cut and cut a patch out of my head. So we seen each other, you know. So yeah, I knew that this was going to be my queen after a couple of months. It don't take long.
Oh my goodness. Thank y'all so much. We are at our time. We got to do this again. We need like 2 hours. Like we really need like 2 hours. I got all these questions. I'm mad because I'm about to hold y'all up in the back. No, I'm not. But I thank y'all so much. I thank you to the Fletchers, the Johnsons, and the Side Factors for sharing and being vulnerable in your marriage, because this is a hard thing to do, because you guys didn't know what the questions was. I could have said something that triggered somebody or whatever. But actually, I couldn't said anything to trigger you guys, because you really are in happy, healthy marriages. And that's what I wanted to prove by not giving you the questions. Because, you know, people get triggered, start arguing, or everybody mad. But I thank you guys for your honesty. And I really thank you, because you just really help some married people right now. You may not realize this, but there is a married couple that's watching this, or there's a single woman that's watching this that has hope now, or there's a married woman that's watching this that understands her husband a little bit better, or a married woman that's watching it, or a wife that understands a little bit better. So I thank you guys, and I will see you guys soon. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with the closing. He said, she said, we said was well said, like Lakeisha said. So we'll be right back. I thank you again, guys. You tuned into the Vision of Love Bootcamp. I hope this was helpful to everyone who was watching tonight. But stick around for a few more minutes, and I'm going to give you some information that may help and change your life. Thank you, guys.
That's right.
Thank y'all.